piece of hair. That's what I was planning on. I was planning on some haircuts for my vacation next week. All right, let's get going. And welcome back to another episode of the Media Boat Podcast, your weekly episodes on the news about movies, TV, music, and video games. Not necessarily in that order. My name is Mike. His name is Matt.
My name is Matt. His name is Mike. Thank you for joining us. We are back in the studio for April the 22nd, 2023. April is wrapping up like a tight little bow. And yeah, this is episode 380. 80 even. Nice.
Yep.
Nice even number for this warm April morning. Almost said afternoon.
For some people, it is the afternoon.
Hey, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, as they say. Thank you for joining us. We'll get rolling right into it. Why don't we?
Yep, we got lots of news and lots of thoughts to cover, so let's get right into it, starting with the music section.
Yes.
Start the music section with the Billboard.
Yes.
We start the Billboard with the Hot 100.
What's hot?
What's hot is Last Night by Morgan Wallen. At 2, Search and Rescue by Drake.
Yep.
Coming in at 3, Flowers by Miley Cyrus. At 4, Kill Bill by SZA. And rounding out your top 5, Creepin' by Metro Boomin, The Weeknd, and 21 Savage.
So yeah, 3 through 4 just moved down a bit to make room for the new Drake single.
But he could not conquer Morgan Wallen.
Couldn't do it.
As for your albums chart, your Billboard 200. At number 1, One Thing at a Time by Morgan Wallen.
6th week at number 1.
Coming in at 2, Hope by NF. At 3, Midnight by Taylor Swift. At 4, SOS by SZA. And rounding out your top 5, Portals by Melanie Martinez.
All right.
If you didn't like any of those albums, we have new releases, including Babe by BB Rexa. Yes. That BB Rexa.
It's been around.
Euphoric Recall by Braid.
Okay.
Not to be confused with the game Braid.
No, very different.
All of This Will End by Indigo de Souza.
Hey, I'll be listening to this.
Signs of Life by Neil Gaiman.
Yes, that Neil Gaiman.
With an album?
He does music as well as does writing in comics and everything.
Okay,
he's an entrepreneur.
Well, that's out if you want to listen to that.
A Renaissance man, if you will.
And then we have an album. I might be phrasing this here. That feels good by Jesse Ware.
Felt a little too good.
Well, it's all exclamation points. So
yes.
When you have 3 exclamation points in your title, it has to feel that
I read that more like. I think my read would have been
no. See, because sex sells.
All right.
And that's why BB Rexa named her album Babe. Moving on.
A couple of updates this week.
Yeah, a couple of updates. Before we get into all the Coachella talk.
Yes, we'll talk briefly about Coachella, but yeah.
Yes. Quickly, or rather not quickly, a catch-up story from 2 weeks ago regarding Anitta.
Yes.
Well, after her not-so-amicable parting of ways from Warner Music, the Brazilian superstar singer has inked a new deal with Universal's Republic Records. Republic declined request for comment, but the singer, who is managed by Brandon Silverstein at S10 Entertainment, left Warner after 11 years at the company and a big effort by the company's Warner record label to break the singer in the US with her multi-genre's latest albums, Versions of Me, which was released over a year ago. Despite a blockbuster performance at last year's Coachella Festival, a massive international hit with the song Envolver, which had amassed over 500 million streams on Spotify.
Pretty good.
And a collaboration on the album with hitmakers like Max Martin, Ryan Tedder, and Stargate. Not to mention features from Saweetie, Missy Elliott, Khalid, and Maluna. The album was not a hit in the US, although she remains a superstar in Latin America and other territories.
So yeah, jumping the ship to Republic here probably is a good move long term. She probably has more faith that Republic will do a better job than Warner did marketing her here in the States, which I think seems to be the sticking point. It seems like she didn't like what they were doing specifically with the promotions they were running here.
That if it's going to be a worldwide hit, it seems odd that it's a hit everywhere except in the U.S.
Yeah, where a lot of money is to be made. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if Republic gives her the platform that she wants.
I mean, they signed the deal, so I think
they better.
There's something in that contract that says, yes, we'll give you the platform.
Money says that they should do
Money
it.
talks loudly. Speaking of money talks loudly, so is making new music. So the Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
They've announced their first album since the sudden passing of the drummer Taylor Hawkins back in March of 2022.
Yeah.
Quote, but sorry, the song title.
Yeah, no, that's the album title.
The album. But here we are.
But here we are.
Is the name of the album. It's set to arrive on June 2nd. While its lead single, Rescued, is currently available. Quote, it's a brutally honest and emotional raw response to everything Foo Fighters endured over the last year. But here we are is a testament to the healing powers of music, friendship, and family, according to the press release. Courageous, damaged, and unflinching, authentic. But here we are. Opens with newly released lead single, Rescued, the first of 10 songs that run the emotional gamut from rage to sorrow to serenity and acceptance, and myriad points in between.
Myriad. So yeah, I mean, this is kind of how we figured this was going to go down. There was no universe in which the Foo Fighters just hung it up. Even though Taylor Hawkins was obviously, this doesn't even need to be said, but was obviously a big part of what made Foo Fighters work and was a big piece of the band. And losing him was definitely a difficult thing for them to deal with when considering making new music. There was no universe in which they didn't do this. They didn't continue making music, recording, continue touring. There was always going to be a Foo Fighters beyond Hawkins. And here we're finally seeing the first fruits of that. Yeah, I mean, and using the album to process through these, I'm sure, complicated feelings about moving on and having to, and dealing with emotional, feelings that encompass that. I think this is a good outlet for them. They're going to be able to process a lot of things.
Especially the way Dave Grohl writes music and produces it, that this could be a really good album taken from such a sad, strong time in their life.
Right, yeah. Who knows? I have not yet listened to Rescued, so I don't know anything. I don't have anything to say about the single yet. But yeah, interesting to see. And this will be definitely a pivot point for them. And I hope they make the best of it. Sounds like they are.
June 2nd. That's in 2 months?
That's
6 weeks, roughly?
That's coming soon. They work fast and they are very prolific, is what I will say about the Foo Fighters.
Yes.
Yeah, they never stop. And that's good for them because I'm sure that it'll be good to kind of process all of these feelings over the last year.
Yeah, not just for the band, but also for all the fans as well.
Oh, yeah, no, it'll be cathartic for the fans too. You're right.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Speaking of things that need to be processed.
Yeah.
Coachella happened.
Yeah.
Weekend 1
Technically,
was last
Coachella
weekend.
is still happening.
Yes.
Weekend
Coachella
2
weekend
is happening as we speak.
Yes. But they are noticeably absent one headliner.
Well, yes and no. So the biggest news that came out of Coachella, well, there are two big headlines last week for weekend 1. And one of them was that fan favorites Blink-182 made a surprise appearance on the festival stage. They weren't planned. They were kind of a last minute addition, but they with their reunited lineup with Tom DeLonge in tow, they did some classics. You can see some clips on YouTube, and yeah, they seem to be having fun up there. Tom doesn't sound exactly like how you used to, but you get used to it.
He's not 23 anymore.
No, turns out. And so yeah, but yeah, it was cool to see them back up. Well, it ended up being a good thing that they were there, because the headliner for Sunday night last week, Frank Ocean, had some difficulties in the lineup to his big headliner performance.
Difficulties is putting it lightly, I would say.
So apparently on the festival grounds earlier that same day, he had twisted his ankle. And this means the planned ice rink was scrapped. They had to completely rework everything that they had planned for Frank Ocean's performance. This led to what some people refer to as an awkward headlining performance that was not streamed on YouTube as planned. The internet fans, the fans of Frank Ocean, had to scramble to find a stream of a stream to watch it sideways to watch the performance happen online if you weren't there in person. Yeah, mixed results, I guess you could say.
Yeah, the decision to pull from YouTube's stream happened day of, so people didn't realize that was going to happen until they released the schedule for the YouTube live performances earlier on that Sunday.
It was all last minute, very slapdash, and Frank Ocean himself seems to have agreed, because upon doctor's orders, it was announced that in the lead up to this weekend that he would not be showing up at all for weekend 2. So his headliner performance has completely been scrapped. But again, good thing Blink-182 is here. It seems like plans are that they will take his place.
Yeah, they've already announced that Blink-182 will be the third headliner, or the main headliner on Sunday, the third headliner for weekend 2.
Yeah.
And we'll just slot right in there.
Yeah.
Lots of varying reports coming out when this was happening live as to what was happening with Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
Especially different details going on behind the scenes of what may or may not have actually happened.
Yeah.
As emotions were very running high, and Twitter and Reddit and Facebook and Instagram is very ripe with, hey, first takes, hot takes.
I mean, yeah, needless to say, this was just yet another complication for an already incredibly complicated Coachella. This is the same Coachella that, has had its headliner swapped a billion times at this point. So to have it happen again at the last minute, I'm sure the festival organizers were pissed about everything happening the way it did.
Well, either this means that next Coachella is going to play it very safe.
I would think so.
Or going forward, they always have a fourth undisclosed act.
I think that's what you have. Why you have the returning to the desert thing at the bottom of the poster, just in case. It's like a break glass for in case of emergency kind of move.
Like, this is the midnight performance, or in case something happens, we'll move them to a headliner.
Yeah. So you're probably right. I think next year they pick some maybe slightly less controversial choices, so that way they can really nail in that lineup. Because I think they've learned their lesson about Frank Ocean here. I don't know if you see him again at Coachella, or if you do, it's going to be a while. I
don't know if you see him on any stage, but it may be a while.
Yeah, especially if doctor's orders remain. He has to tend to that ankle.
Yeah, we won't go into all the he said, she said for those doctor's orders.
Right, yeah.
Because there are widely varying opinions on that.
But I'm going to go with the official line just to be safe here.
Yeah, but let's just say that the fans who were there in attendance, some who waited 5 hours just to see Frank Ocean, were pissed.
I'd imagine.
When he didn't show up.
Yeah. But anyway, other than that.
When he showed up an hour late and then only played for half an hour.
Yeah. Other than that, we mentioned that they have been streaming a bunch of Coachella performances. Yep. Have you watched any? Did you tune in for any of them?
I watched a couple stuff, poking around. The one that caught my eye a lot was Lotto, but not for the things you think it was. But also, it was for the things you think it was.
For that.
Yes. But other than that, this live, there wasn't really anybody I was actually looking forward to watching live.
Yeah.
I'll probably catch the Blink-182 live on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's the only one I'm kind of looking forward to.
Yeah, and I was telling you pre-pod, we tried, but honestly, the things I wanted to see were all before the streaming started at 4. So it was kind of a waste of time for me. Not a whole lot of Couchella this year.
No, not.
It was not a great Couchella. Anyway.
But I did hear that people who did go did have a fun time.
Yeah.
At least of the friends that I know that went. So congratulations on your first Coachellas and surviving.
Good luck.
Not all of them will end up like this.
No. Better or for worse. All right, let's move on into some thoughts. You listen to something.
I put this on here. I only listened to half of this.
I was going to say, from what I understand, there's a lot to get through here.
Yes, and when I say I only listen to half of something,
Yeah.
I go through about like maybe 4 or 5 songs, and then I kind of end.
But no, this is different.
Yes, by saying I got through half of this, it means I got through 4 hours of it. That's right. Halfway Point is a 4-hour album. This is a 8.5-hour album by Mac DeMarco.
Yeah, why did
called
you do this?
One Wayne G.
Why did you do this?
For the lulz.
I don't think of you as a Mac DeMarco person.
No, well, I had no idea what I was getting into because we were talking with some coworkers about this, and they're like, "Hey, did you see that this dropped?" I'm like, "No, that can't be real. There has to be there has to be a limit on the number of songs you can put on an album.
Yeah.
And 2, there has to be a time limit on the length of an album. Turns out I was wrong on both accounts.
Yeah.
One Wing G is a 199 track album.
It's too many.
Clocking in at 8 hours and 47 minutes.
It's too many. That's too many. I'm telling you, that's too many.
So I started listening to this, and first I looked up at the album tracks.
Sure.
I can't really call them album tracks because they're just dates.
Okay.
It's just here. This is the date that I created this,
right?
Or the date that I started the sample on this. And for 199 tracks, it's just dates. If you recorded 2 on the same day, there's a 2 next to one.
All right.
I think there's only about 16 tracks that have actual names after the date.
Okay.
But those are the only ones that have vocals on it. Everything else in this album is instrumental rock jazz, kind of.
Sure. Okay.
I guess that's kind of what he's known for.
Yeah,
like alternative jazz-ish.
I'll be honest. I don't know a lot about Mac DeMarco. I know he's been in a lot of the same, I don't know, area of some other artists that I enjoyed, but not really.
Well, I'm not going to use the term that he describes himself.
It's like Star Wars.
Yeah. It's like cantina music.
Like the music, the cantina music. Jizz.
No, this is Songs for a Sushi Restaurant.
There you go. Anyway, I don't really know much about Mac DeMarco. The one story I have about Mac DeMarco is kind of gross. A girl I used to date, she once told me that she loved Mac DeMarco. She thought he was cute, and that, I quote, "I would love to put my tongue in between his gap in his teeth." End quote.
That is very specific.
It's very specific. I don't know why she wanted to do that, but she wanted to do that.
She wanted to jump the gap.
Ever since then, every time I think
David, it's called shoot the gap. In football, you shoot the gap.
We're almost there.
Yes.
But yeah, that's even grosser in a weird way. But yeah, no, ever since then, whenever I think of Mac DeMarco, I think of that happening. And I'm like, that's gross, but okay. Hey, you know what? I don't want to yuck anybody's yums. You do you.
Anyways, if you want background music, if you want study music, Wayne G by Mac DeMarco. Wow. You got 8 hours of it.
Say goodbye to Lo-Fi Girl. Mac DeMarco is here.
Yep.
All right. So yeah, it doesn't sound like you enjoyed it that much.
Well, I enjoyed it enough to where I forgot that it was on because it was just going.
I don't know if that's enjoyment.
Well, I was enjoying it because I was maybe super focused on what I was doing.
Sure, okay.
I was just going on. I was it's good enough to for background music.
Fair enough. All right, so that's
elevator music.
Yeah, One Wayne G by Mac DeMarco. Don't listen to the whole thing.
All right.
Anyways,
let's get into some video games, and we'll start with new releases.
All right.
We have Age of Wonders for the PS5, Xbox Series X, and PC.
Yep.
Super Dungeon Maker for the Switch and PC.
Mm-hmm.
Ravenlock for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and PC. Getting a very rare Xbox One.
Not that rare.
Well, we've kind of stopped looking at them, but yeah. And then your big release of the week, Redfall for Xbox
Yes.
Series X and PC.
That will also be on Game Pass, so I'll probably take a look at this.
This is Borderlands meets vampires.
That is what the pitch seems to be. A lot of people thought,
or Left 4 Dead meets
well, a lot of people
vampires.
thought it was Left 4 Dead, but they made it a point to be like, no, not really. It's a co-op focused, similar to Borderlands, where you're using individual like class-based powers to cooperate. Except now, the whole hook is that while you're fighting the zombie vampires.
Yeah, is it zombies or is it vampires?
I think it's vampires.
Pretty sure it's vampires.
Yeah, it's vampires. Anyway, while you're fighting the vampires, your powers in co-op can actually commingle with your partner's powers. So it's like you can do combinations of things. Also, it's it's kind of like takes cues from the studio's previous games like Dishonored and Deathloop, where there's stuff you can explore in the area, and there's loot you can pick up, and there's a reason to do like kind of interact with your environment as well. So seems like a neat pitch. It's been up and down regarding early feedback on this thing, so I'm interested to play it myself to see what it is.
Now, don't forget, you won't get any of the 60 frame rates.
Right.
On
yes.
launch.
It looks like they're launching it with without performance mode, so you'll have to wait for on console at least for 60 frames. One thing I will say is you kind of hinted at this, is that this is the first new releases we've had, I believe, ever. None of these games are coming out on PS4.
Yeah.
We are completely done with PS4 releases this week, which is weird. Maybe this finally means that we're ready to move on.
I think PlayStation is also ready to move on, because that moves us into our first story. Yes. Well, you don't have it here, but the PlayStation collections that started with the PS5 was launched will cease to exist May 7th, I think, is what I saw.
Now, that just means if you haven't already downloaded it. So
if you haven't already purchased it, put it into your library.
Right. You can't add it again. So yeah, this is the stuff that launched with the PS5 launch, which was basically like, we're going to give you a greatest hits collection of PS4's best that you can just have.
And we'll up-res it for PS5.
Yeah.
Just for you to play, so that we have something to play, because the PS5 has 10 games, maybe.
Yeah. So let this be a PSA. If you just bought a PS5, go and grab this before it goes away. I thankfully have already purchased it, so I've got them.
Yep.
But yeah, if you don't have them, if you missed this, or if you just bought your new console, check it out. These bunch of free games. God of War 1 is one of them.
Yeah, the original Ratchet and Clank, Days Gone, Mortal Kombat 10,
Horizon 1, I think.
I think it might be on there.
Yeah, I think Horizon 1's on there. So
yeah. So it's like a greatest hits of PS4 games that are going to be going away from the PS5.
So yeah, check it out. Speaking of Horizon,
yes, our first DLC for Horizon Forbidden West has arrived.
Yes, and alongside that is this.
The update for Horizon Forbidden West. So the latest update has added several new accessibility features, including a thalassophobia mode.
Thalassophobia.
Meaning fear of the ocean.
Yeah.
Thalassophobia is an intense fear of deep bodies of water, like the ocean. I should have read the next line before I said that. Quote, this feature aims to ease thalassophobia symptoms by improving underwater ambient visibility and allowing you to breathe indefinitely, regardless of story progression.
Yeah.
The Guerrilla Games said that this mode is being introduced alongside other accessibility features, including enlarged subtitles, auto pickup, which I believe was a thing in the second game the first game after an update.
It was, but even this is slightly different. It's like you don't even have to press any buttons. Like that, I believe in the first game, the thing would turn off the animations, but you still have to press the button.
Yeah.
This time, you walk over shit and you collect it. You do not have to press anything.
That's going to help with speed running.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also have color blindness settings.
Color blindness.
Yes. Auto camera, navigation assist for in focus while you're in focus mode.
Yeah.
Patch 1.21 also adds support for Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores expansion, which launched on Wednesday.
And this is the time where we say neither of us has played Burning Shores yet. Watch this space. But yeah, for now, we have not dug into the DLC quite yet.
I may get into it in May after I come back.
You may get into it.
Yeah. Well, because I got stuff coming up between when it released and next week, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pay, was it $30?
$20.
Oh, it's $20?
Yeah.
Oh, it's 30. Okay, maybe $20. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't finished the main quest yet, and I
The
understand
main
that.
story.
Yeah, I understand that you have to.
You have to get past the mission log singularity in order to access it.
So yeah, I am not quite there. So yeah, I have no real reason to buy this quite yet, but maybe we'll see.
All right. But yes, watch this space. We will talk about Burning Shores.
Yeah. ...
Eventually.
Eventually.
All right. Moving on to our second story. Remember Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
You know how people are still playing Pokemon Go?
Some people are. Some people are very dedicated to that thing.
Well, Capcom wants to get into that space.
Oh, yeah.
Because they are teaming up with Pokemon Go studio Niantic for a new mobile game based on the Monster Hunter franchise.
Yes.
Called Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Now.
Now?
Now.
Now.
Well, there's no exclamation point, so it's Meow?
Monster Hunter Now.
No, I think it's Meow, like the cats. Monster Hunter Meow?
Yeah.
Which is set for release in September, offers players an approachable hunting experience that can be enjoyed as part of everyday life.
Sure.
As in Pokemon Go, the game will use data from the real world using location-based technology and augmented reality to encourage. In the game, players take on the role of hunters and embark on an adventure during which they hunt vividly lifelike monsters that appear in the real world, says Capcom.
So, will you check this out?
I'm already hunting monsters on my phone with Pokemon Go. So if I'm hunting pocket monsters, do I want to hunt actual monsters?
Monsters?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
I have no interest in this at all, but like I'm sure there will be an audience for it as long as they continue supporting it. Because if you recall, they've done this a couple of times already with franchises that aren't Pokemon, try to goify them. I believe there was some sort of Harry Potter version of this that did not gain any traction and was shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately it depends on whether it finds an audience and they continue to support it.
There still may or may not be a Kingdom Hearts version of this coming out later this year called Missing Link.
Yeah, we'll see.
Although if that game does never come out, then it truly will be a missing link. So
truly it will.
Not
much really to say about this.
Yeah, more AR video games in the AR space with phones.
Yeah. Niantic getting that paycheck.
Yep. And lastly here, you have something about Sega buying Rovio.
Yeah, I just want to mention this because this is big video game news. But there's not a whole lot to say about it quite yet. So Sega, a target of a lot of rumors itself about whether it will be purchased or not. I'm sure you remember stories about was Microsoft going to buy Sega? Is Sony going to buy Sega? Well, Sega would like you to change that narrative. They apparently are not in the business of getting bought. They're in the business of buying. And business is good because they this week have purchased mobile game studio Rovio.
Angry Birds.
Famous for the Angry Birds franchise.
It took me a while.
Yes.
As you were saying that, I was like, wait, I know this name. That's it.
Angry Birds has been their biggest success. It was, of course, so big, it spawned 2 films based on the franchise.
Yeah, that's right. They made a sequel to Angry Birds.
And a merchandise empire. But ultimately, they weren't worth that much, considering Sega was able to buy them. This is what Sega is saying is a move towards improving their mobile imprint beyond just Japan. Apparently, they have a pretty successful mobile business in Japan, but internationally, they struggle in that zone. There's not a whole lot of phone stuff for Sega properties. So buying Rovio will kind of solve that problem. They'll have a built-in mobile studio that can help make more. This also means, Sonic the Hedgehog can hang out with the Angry Birds.
I was thinking, do you just slingshot Sonic now?
Yeah, maybe. Sonic the Hedgehog Angry Birds would be a really good move for them to do.
Yeah, you just use Sonic, Tails, Knuckles.
Oh, yeah, Tails, I mean, he's built in. He can glide a little bit longer. I could see something like that happening. I could see the Angry Birds showing up in the next Sonic movie. There's a lot of options here. Seems like a good idea if you're Sega.
Sounds pretty good.
All right. Well, that's it for news then.
All right. Did you play anything?
Just more of the show, and I'm still trying to wrap up Resident Evil 4.
Okay.
I'm not quite done with it yet. I kind of dabbled in some other things this week. Oh yeah, and I finally bought Ariana Grande in Fortnite.
Oh, you
Mission
finally
accomplished. It finally took a while. They finally put her back at the store, and so I now have Ariana Grande.
Oh, it played right into you.
It did.
Someone awesome is continuing his PGA Masters tournament
Cool.
fight. So you know how? So last time I said I had to get good because I was doing career mode, and you start at basically 0. Well, it took me 20 levels, but I finally got there.
Hey.
Also, I realized that game really, really, really wants you to play every single hole, and that's how you level up.
I see.
Because I'm playing on quick mode, it only gives you about 4 to 5 holes per match. Well, in doing so, it gives you 4,000 to 5,000 points, 1,000 points per hole. So if I'm getting 4,000 to 5,000 points per hole on doing a quick mode, I should be getting 18,000 points per game.
Yeah.
Times 4 because over the weekend, and that's how the game actually wants you to play. It doesn't want you to play in quick mode. It wants you to play every single hole. Okay. Wish I would have done that before. But yeah, once again, PGA Masters.
It's golf.
It's golf, and it will take you a long time to finally get good.
All right.
Just
grinding on that course.
Pretty much. Other than that, I played an old game.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see this here. Did you ever play Slay the Spire before?
No, I did not.
All right. Well, what do you think?
So this is a game from 2019.
Yeah.
From Humble Games. That recently came out on PlayStation Plus.
Okay.
Like one of their free games.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like I was watching an ad of like, oh, here's all the new games that came out. And it was like, this is a dungeon card game.
Yes.
I was like, that sounds up my alley. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, it was partially responsible for kind of setting up the very trendy genre of the deck builder game. It kind of spawned a lot of imitators.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this seems to be the original, and a lot of people think this is one of the better ones.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I easily lost about, I would say lost. I know where I went. It's right there.
Yeah.
7 hours in the span of a week playing this game. It's fun. It's addicting. But it also keeps everything simple.
Yeah.
So even if you want to zoom by all of the tutorials, the actual combat is very, very simple. You got your attack, you got your block, and then you have your specials. And that's it. And you just collect cards as you climb the spire, defeat the boss, gain relics. It's very simple, but what it does simple, it does really well. Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot of extra fluff in here to distract your eyes. There's also not a whole lot of extra fluff for microtransactions to be like, hey, right, if you buy this pack, you'll get extra cards and you'll do better.
Yeah, not
otherwise
that kind of
you can grind out. No. I think the fact that it's a roguelike tower climber makes it so that yes, each deck you're gonna build as you progress will be different, but at least because you'll get one of the same 20 cards. Eventually you'll get all the cards in your deck and play off that. Yeah. So it's a really, really well done, tight game, and I'm surprised and not surprised how much I liked it, because I really like playing the deck building games now.
Right.
But I don't think in 2019 I was. I think I had to catch up in my kind of style and gameplay to fully enjoy Slay the Spire.
Yeah, this is kind of a modern classic. So yeah, I've heard a lot of really good things about it. I have not given it a shot myself, but maybe now that I know it's on the PlayStation stuff, that maybe I should give it a shot. But yeah, cool, awesome. Anything else?
Nope. Just there's a whole lot of new PlayStation extras for those of you who are signed up. I did end up rolling over for the next year because it was just $100 and I forgot to cancel.
Yeah.
So mainly because I forgot to cancel, but it's also for $100. I don't know what else is going to be on here.
Now that I have a disc copy of Horizon 2, I might just cancel it. Okay. I don't really have a whole reason to keep it.
Yep.
So.
And lastly, I finally 100%ed to Chia.
All right. Wow. How long did that take?
Longer than I wanted to play it.
Yeah, right.
Especially since after I did literally everything, I forgot what I was supposed to do and how to do it. So I had
Yeah.
to look up the walkthrough. Like, okay, it says I need to do this, but there's no marker on my map for it. What am I supposed to do?
Oh no.
But then once I did that, and then I actually got going into the story. The story's actually not that bad.
All right.
It's decent enough to where it kept me interested. A lot of these supposed like twists you saw coming a mile away.
Yeah. Well,
But other than that, I think again, one of those games that I played wrong where I went and gathered everything
yeah.
and then went back to the story because when you give me, you can go everywhere and do
You're
anything.
gonna do all of that before you go back
I'm
to
going
the
to
quest.
do all the side stuff before I go back to the main stuff.
Yeah. No.
But at least once I did all that and went back to the main stuff, it made me like super OP to
Right.
kind of like not worry about like either my health getting hit or running out of time to do stuff.
It's always the case.
Yeah.
Well, so that wrap up satisfyingly for you.
Yep.
Chia.
That's Chia.
Chia.
It's a nice, fun, kind of like I said, podcast game.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of stuff to do in the game that you don't necessarily have to pay attention to.
Right. All right, cool. So
Farming.
That's Chia.
Just a farming game or everything. Anyways, that's Chia.
Cool.
Docket
for next week. Like I said, I'll try to take a look at in like a little bit here.
Okay. I don't have anything else for me.
The show's still on its way for you, or
no? Oh, that's what's coming up.
Yeah.
The Jedi Fallen Order.
Jedi 2. Yeah, that's next time. I think.
Yes.
After next week. So
that's
yeah.
After next
2 weeks, we'll talk about Jedi.
Yes.
Because I have that on my list as well.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I got to that's why I've been playing more PJ Masters. Because I got to put it back in the mail in order to get Jedi.
Yeah.
It's on my game lock.
Good call. All right. Cool.
Well, so yes, when Jedi Fallen.
It's
Jedi, not Fallen Order.
No, it's what is that game called?
Survivor. Yeah,
Jedi
Survivor.
Yeah. Out of the show then, and we start television with the Sports Corner. First up, football keeps on chugging along. We have another league. The USFL.
Oh yeah. So watching the USFL in its opening week, you couldn't differentiate it from a Division 7 game because of the lack of the fans and the lack of the music and production in the broadcast.
Yeah.
It was very underwhelming. It was very, I don't want to say piss poor, but oh my God, for being on NBC, they definitely didn't put any money towards it.
The production value, especially in comparison to the real thing, is going to be,
Even compared to the XFL, where at least as things are moving, everyone's mic'd. They always have something going on. They want the USFL to be as close to a middle ground between both college and pros that it kind of gets lost in the middle there.
Yeah. Speaking of, the XFL's regular season ends this weekend.
Yep, this upcoming weekend. 2 teams are in, 2 teams are eliminated, and the remaining 4 are going to play this weekend. Winners get to the semifinals. Next week will be the semifinals. Week after, we will have the finals.
How's that wrapping up for you?
It's fun.
Yeah.
I like the XFL. I think I really like it because whenever they throw flags or like challenge stuff, they immediately go to someone in the booth saying, explain, here's what I'm looking for. This is what I see. Do I have any other angles that we can get to? I'm trying to find something that says this XYZ happened.
Yeah, when I saw that was the case, I was like, oh, they should just implement. We talked about it here, but they should just do that across sports. Just make that the norm. Like, explain what's happening here, because there's probably going to be people who are like, what just happened?
Not just that, but whenever there is, it's what separates it from both the NFL and the XFL is that you kind of get more of that in-your-face experience.
Where you don't get the in-your-face experience is the real thing. The NFL was in the news as well this week. Draft day. It's on Thursday night.
Yes. So get your Kevin Costners ready.
Yes, exactly. The Carolina Panthers are on the clock via the trade from Chicago.
Yes. Chicago would have had the first pick if they hadn't traded for Carolina.
Correct.
Or sorry, Carolina traded to Chicago for the first
pick. So we'll see what happens.
So Carolina Panthers are on the clock and on the hunt for their next QB.
Who's the number one pick this year?
CJ Stroud.
Okay.
Possibly, most likely will be the number one pick.
All right.
This would mean that the last time the Carolina Panthers had the number one overall pick, they chose Cam Newton.
Oh, right.
And all he did was just lead him to the Super Bowl and then nothing else.
Seemed to work okay for a moment there.
Yeah, it was everything like he had a Superman moment, and then put more of his mind into fashion than on the field. So,
well,
got shipped off to New England, and then we never heard the end of him.
True. Well,
but yeah, Carolina Panthers. Once again, you are on the hunt for a franchise quarterback.
Well, we'll see if it works out for him. Elsewhere in the NFL, some controversy happened. 4 players for the Detroit Lions were in the news, including 2022 first-round pick Jameson Williams. They were suspended for violating the NFL's gambling policy after investigation by the league.
Yep. But instead of getting the full season-long suspension like Calvin Ridley got, they're only getting 6 games.
Okay.
Or half games and 6. Some are getting a half season, some are getting 6 games. The difference being 3 games.
So are they gambling on their own games or other?
No. They're gambling on other players' games. But you can't, even like when you're. So the rule is, even if you're out on the injured list, even if you're out on bye week, you cannot gamble on football games.
Right, because it's assumed you would have some inside knowledge.
Yes, it's assumed that you are in talks with the other players in the league.
Yeah, sports gambling.
So that's why they say, no, you play for the NFL, you not gamble on the NFL, but we will gladly accept gambling money to promote gambling on the NFL for everyone else.
Yeah, if you're a fan, we're going to pull out all the stops, make it as easy as possible for you to give us money. But no,
we don't want the players to give money to the gambling.
God, no. I mean, you saw what happened with Pete Rose. Anyways, let's back. That's a good segue here into baseball.
Yes.
Big story in baseball, especially if you're in the Bay Area, the Yay area. Not so yay this week, though. The Oakland A's are in the news this week, as they may not be the Oakland A's for too much longer.
As has been the case for the past 4 years since they've been saying this.
But this time seems like the last straw for a couple of reasons. First up, the Athletics president, Dave Cavall, officially announced Wednesday night, after a big loss.
Yes.
That the team signed a binding agreement to purchase a plot of land near the Las Vegas Strip, which will be the site of the future ballpark. Notice the language will be. The reason for that language is that at around the same time, the city of Oakland also made an announcement saying that they were done negotiating with the team for building a new ballpark in Oakland. Seems like that the team wanted a waterfront location. They could not work out the logistics of where and how much that would cost and all the details that within to make that happen. So,
no, they did all that. But what they couldn't agree on was how much the city would pay for a billionaire to build a ballpark.
Right. So basically, talks dried up and Oakland gave up on the Athletics. So it seems like, in all likelihood, this is happening. And that means Oakland fans have about, 2 to 3 seasons probably left until that. So the A's have been bad now for 2 seasons.
Just 2?
Well, recently.
Billy B would like a word with you.
I mean, yes, they've been bad, generally speaking, for a long time. But I mean, they've been dirt poor, bottom of the division for now, looks like going to be 2 seasons in a row.
Yes.
They're currently terrible. The fans already were not showing up. So that's already where you're starting with. But this feels still like a big slap in the face by Athletics ownership. Like, this just means that there's just no faith left for Oakland fans. So, like, if you are an A fan, I hate to break it to you, but yeah, you're just completely left on the wayside, because not only is your team bad, but it's not even going to be your team for too much longer.
I feel like if you're an A's fan, you're a fan by happenstance.
Maybe, but I feel like every team has the die.
Oh, okay, yes. If you're a fan because your dad or mom was a fan in the 80s when they were good.
Yeah, maybe you're a fan of guys with really cool mustaches.
Or,
that's enough to be an A's fan.
I mean, maybe you're just a fan of players who are really intense.
Yes, he always intense. Well, he's not even an A anymore.
No.
So that's the thing. They dismantled this team, and now it's even worse. And I don't understand what they're doing with it. They're running the franchise into the ground. I'm sure part of the plan here is completely new, fresh start in Vegas. Just relaunch them, rebrand, leave everything behind. The A's, as we know it, probably their days are numbered. So it's just sad. Also, another wrinkle that I want to add to this, and we've talked about this a little bit off pod. People are saying this is also going to contribute to the movement of expansion teams, saying that putting a team in Vegas leaves the Pacific, leaves some more room for an expansion team in that Pacific Northwest kind of zone. When you take that Bay Area team out, it seems to add credence to, say, a Portland team or a Vancouver team. It adds more reason for them to add another team that plays in that West Coast.
Yep.
So yeah, this could lead to more credibility to that expansion rumors that we had heard, including a Salt Lake City team.
Well, aren't they at 32 teams?
So yeah, it would be 2 more to, I believe, make that a balance 34.
That's not a balance, though.
Well,
32 is a balance.
Yeah. Well, maybe they'll figure out some way to balance that. Maybe we only get one team over here. Maybe they figure out some sort of East Coast situation. I don't know what they do there, but it'll be interesting nonetheless to kind of see whether they do go through. If this is the thing that that MLB was waiting for to pull the trigger on expansion. We'll see. It's going to be interesting. An interesting season of baseball continues.
I wonder if they can revoke MLB licenses. Just say, Dave Cavallo, we're pulling your MLB license. You can no longer own an MLB team.
A lot of people were saying, where is the league with this? Because the league in the past has intervened. It's weird that they're completely silent about what's happening in Oakland.
That they're saying that the A's are literally putting out the bare minimum out there,
right?
Because it's in the MLBPA.
Yeah,
this is the minimum you have to pay players. This is the minimum you have to put towards the team.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation about whether or not how budgeting works in Major League Baseball. That's a whole nother conversation about the shared pool of resources kind of discussion. But more importantly, yes, the league should be doing something about this. They should at least make a statement. They should at least be like, well, we're looking into this, and we should have a conversation before such, like a desperate Hail Mary of a move here by the Athletics. It seems like there seems like there should be something happening, and there isn't on the league side.
Right.
I don't know. Weird, but that's baseball this week. Anything else in sports we need to talk about?
NBA playoffs are continuing. Yes. They are very exciting.
Yeah, I've heard some good things.
Especially if you're a Milwaukee fan, as you're just trouncing right now. But yeah, the games are exciting. The games are close. It's a good time to just start watching basketball because it's the best teams. You don't get these lopsided victories anymore. Or at least you shouldn't get these lopsided victories anymore.
I've heard similar feedback coming out of the hockey playoffs.
Yes, they are.
So you are a proud Kings fan. How are you?
How did you know?
How are you dealing with the excitement here?
His name is Jonas. He's our goalie in the pipes.
So weird time to be Kings fans on either sport.
Yes.
Good time to be the King.
I know. Also because this only happens during playoff times. Especially here in LA.
Yeah.
All three, Kings, Lakers, and Clippers are in the playoffs.
Yeah, weird.
So the I can't say the Staples swap anymore.
Yeah.
The crypto shuffle is now happening where they are flipping out the ice and basketball rinks on a not even a nightly basis.
Yeah.
Literally on sometimes hourly basis because they have games played in the afternoon and at night.
Damn. Hate to work there.
Oh, but it's fun to watch the time lapse.
Well, I'm sure. It would be even better for LA if one of their baseball teams was good right now. Too bad neither of them are. Sorry, Dodgers. Let's move on then out of sports and into some television news here.
Yes.
we start television news with a little update from the WGA.
So they're in negotiation talks right now.
Yeah.
Or at least they have been since March.
So yes, we are looking what may be, depending on how negotiations go, another writer's strike. Members have already voted overwhelmingly to authorize the strike if need be. The vote, which was approved by nearly 98% of the eligible voting members, authorizes the WGA West Board and the WGA East Council to call a strike if a fair deal for a new film and TV contract isn't reached by May 1st, when the current deal expires. Quote, our membership has spoken, the WGA negotiating committee told Guild members. You have expressed your collective strength, solidarity, and demand for meaningful change in overwhelming numbers. End quote. Bargaining for the new contract began March 20th, but is now expected to kick into high gear as that May 1st deadline is nearing.
I mean, we have less than 10 days.
Yes, we'll know this week, probably, whether or not they reach some sort of compromise.
We have seen it, talks go into the weekend where they have made a deal literally at the 11th hour. So we may not have a deal by the time we talk next week.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But at 98%, they're saying meet our demands or we will walk.
Yeah.
The last time they did this, they actually walked was in 2007.
Right.
And even then, that was a 94% approval.
So the strike is no longer like a question. It will happen if there's no deal.
Yes.
So it's only a matter of finding out what's on the table and whether it's something that they deem acceptable or not. Because if it's not, we have another writer's strike on our hands, people.
Oh boy.
And get ready, because this one's going to be even weirder than the last. Television is way different than it used to be.
Yeah, television and just the streaming landscape and what constitutes a season of a movie pay is very different.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be a shit show. So we'll just have to see. Let's move on to our second story here. Hey, you like Spider-Man?
Yes, everyone loves Spider-Man.
Plus, at long last.
What? Finally? It's happening?
Tobey Maguire's trilogy of Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3, as well as Andrew Garfield's less spectacular, The Amazing Spider-Man, will arrive on Disney Plus on April 21st. So yesterday, while Tom Holland's Spider-Man Homecoming and Tom Hardy's Venom debut on May 12th. The film's streaming shuffle has been expected since the massive deal between Sony and Disney back in 2021, which kicked into gear the move to bring Sony Spider-Man films and other Marvel properties to Disney+. Additional titles from Sony Pictures' film and television library are also expected to premiere on Disney+ in the US later this year as part of that deal. So maybe we'll see those X-Men films.
Yes,
well.
Currently, no, X-Men.
Not X-Men, sorry.
The other Spider-Man films.
Yeah.
The Far From Home and No Way Home.
Those other ones.
Yes. Currently, they are available on Hulu outside of the U.S. as part of this deal.
Right.
But in the U.S., they will eventually, by the end of the year, all be on Disney+.
So that's exciting. I have not seen any of the Tom Holland films.
What?
So yeah, because again, they weren't available on streaming.
It's okay. You can watch the superiorly better Tobey Maguire versions.
Yes, those I have seen.
Yes.
Those are the only ones on this list I have seen is the Tobey Maguire trilogy. I've not seen The Amazings and I've not seen the Tom Holland.
Get your Sam Raimi on.
Yeah. Hey, those are good movies. Spider-Man 2 especially. It's classic.
Yes.
Spider-Man 3, it's fine.
It has its moments.
It has moments.
It has its other moments as well.
The dance thing is funny. Yeah. Anyway, anything else to say about Spider-Man before we move on?
I mean, for everyone who's always clamoring, where is Spider-Man?
Here they come.
This is it.
They're coming.
This also means that hopefully the No Way Home, where all three of these Spider-Man cross over.
Yes.
Spoilers.
It's been long enough. Well, eventually, yes.
Yes, should eventually arrive on Disney+.
Right.
And then Marvel can fill the Spider-Man-sized hole that is missing in their catalog.
Well, very soon we will see it.
Yes.
All right. Let's move into some thoughts. We've been watching some TV this week.
Yes, we have.
Including the shit show, which was, from what I heard on Twitter, the Love is Blind live reunion.
Oh, the Love is Blind live reunion was indeed a shit show.
Were you even able to see it? Were you able to log in and actually watch this? Yeah, so
Yes.
so we are
Yes.
our guest. We got our guest here.
We have our
too.
guest here, so he'll be a part of this. But yes,
I saw. So let me briefly say what I saw on Twitter, because
Okay.
I obviously do not care.
I know
What
you
I
do
was
not
seeing
care.
on Twitter was people were like, "Wow, I can't even log in, or I can't even see this. What's happening?" A lot of people were like scrambling, and then when it finally did happen, everybody at the end was like, "What the hell was that?"
So they promoted this thing for a week.
Yes.
I talked about it last week. That the Love Is Blind reunion would have a live reunion on
Right.
Sunday night at 5 p.m. Well, I go to log in at 4:45 to like get a pre-tape going, make sure I'm logged in, make sure everything's set.
Right.
You know, as you do when you
As
put
you
on a
do.
live production, that you
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
make sure everything is working
Make sure.
correctly.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No connection.
Just didn't work.
Just didn't want to load. Just said, nope,
Netflix
error,
just
we
broke.
cannot load this. I was like, okay, this is weird. Let me try again. Error, cannot load this. Weird. Let me try just play Love Is Blind regularly. Oh, that works. For some reason, it won't connect me to live on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's weird. Let me get to my phone and try it here. Nope. Let me go off Wi-Fi. Oh, there it goes. Now I have a stream doing a mobile
using your data.
Using my data connecting on my mobile phone.
Because this is worth using your data for.
But now it's not even alive. It's not even running live. It is saying we will broadcast shortly. 15 minutes go by. We will broadcast shortly.
Yeah.
30 minutes go by. We're experiencing technical difficulties. Please hold. An hour goes by.
Oh no.
Still same thing. Please hold.
By this point, we're subscribed to dinner.
Yeah, by this point, we're like
bailing on this.
We're bailing. We'll go out to dinner. We'll watch this later. So we go out to dinner. We come back. It's now 3 hours past when this thing was supposed to go live.
Yeah.
I try and play it. Cannot play it. I try to go live. Cannot go live.
Nope.
I tried to play a recorded version. Cannot play the recorded version. Just complete and utter just meltdown of Netflix going live. I was able to get it going on my phone using mobile data.
Yeah.
To watch the recording of it. And so I projected that onto the screen, onto my TV. It was terrible quality, but we were able to watch it.
Right.
You really just needed to hear it to get the gist.
But anyways, the whole point of just that ramble is that Netflix going live, not a thing yet.
Now, real quick, so did you see anybody complaining about the Chris Rock thing?
No.
Which presumably was kind of the dry run for this technology.
Well, yeah.
So they just were not prepared at all.
Oh no, this
one that people actually wanted to see.
For me, this is the B team. This is the hey, we did it once. Just go do that.
We're fine. Yeah, no, we're not gonna have like the servers like completely eat themselves. No.
Yeah, you know, nobody really cares about Love Is Blind. We're just doing this for the fans.
But turns out they really did.
Turns out there's more Love Is Blind fans than our Chris Rock fans.
That was what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I think as like reality TV, yes, as it is. People love this show.
Yeah,
like, and we're kind of in that boat too. And
yes.
I hate to say it, but like
no, don't. We can love hate it. You can hate watch it.
You can't stop watching it. Like it's the train wreck. My friend's watching it now, and she's like the beginning. She's like, for this season in general, she's like, the pods are boring, and I was like, oh, just wait, just wait. And she's like. She's just getting to the pool party part.
So anyways, during the live reunion, there was a lot of banter from Vanessa Lachey, not just on when's Love Is Blind baby coming, but also attacking all the guys after and like not really going after that hard at the girls.
It was
the season.
It was very weirdly biased, and it seems like it was misdirected. And people and the whole point of a thing like this is for the people to see each other after a year and to like give their opinion, give their thoughts on like what happened versus like what actually happened versus what was seen on the show, and provide more background and context of like things that happened. I think people are freaking out specifically about Vanessa Lachey because if you're gonna dig on people, you have to dig on everybody that deserves it. You can't just dig on one side when it was very obvious there were these two girls in it that were like the mean girls. I think they got let off way too easily.
Yeah.
And then she went apeshit on this guy who
Yeah.
said he couldn't see the person he'd been with for a month as a mother. And it's like, when you think about the context of that, it's like, okay, that statement sucks, but like, you've been together a month. Like, could you have seen me as a mother like a month in? You don't even know me.
Right.
So it's
like,
sort of like
people change over the course of a relationship.
Whereas like they belittled these two girls, like went after everybody the whole time and were just horrible people, and it's like, and they like didn't get anything, and it was like, how, which is fine, but like the bias of it, I think, is what freaked people out.
Yeah.
And then
There was also a lack of a certain person there who was causing a lot of the drama on the show during the season.
Saw that, yes.
So yeah,
Decided not to show up, instead do a Zoom call before everything, and they showed the Zoom call.
And the Zoom call was very kind.
Yes.
Like, considering, and then probably the best part of the whole thing was Marshall, his facial expressions during that Zoom call. The one that, spoiler alert, that Jackie broke up with.
Yes, she broke up with him, and so he wanted the ring back, and she said no.
There's a lot of, anyway,
There's a lot going on there. But
sounds like it.
I think another part that people really didn't like was the fact that Vanessa Lachey was like pressuring everyone to have a child.
Sure.
And
yes.
anybody who like has a brain knows like you don't do that to women. You don't know if these people have had miscarriages. They're actively trying and have infertility issues. They don't want children.
Right.
And I think that cringe that caused could have very well be avoided had it not been a live show.
Yeah.
Attacking and
editing could have done some work.
The pressure of that. Also, Vanessa Lachey had a burp cloth on her dress.
Okay, it looked like a burp cloth.
Which everyone, a few people were like, "Was this like foreshadowing?"
It was a really, really weird
2 hours of
live reunion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cringe, but
yeah. Well, normally the reunions are like taped to an hour, so the live ran for 2 hours. Also, they were supposed to be on the Netflix, on Netflix's website. You could ask certain questions and vote on questions to be asked during the live show.
Oh no!
They got through none of that.
Oh, I'm sure
they just completely
the only one they did was Bartiz from the last season.
Oh, yeah, that guy
holding a baby, because that requires drama that outside of the show. Of is that or is that not his son?
Oh my god!
Which he denied until he got a paternity test.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where's Mowry?
He might be a better moderator than Vanessa Lachey.
Well, now that sounds beautiful. That sounds like a beautiful piece of reality television.
Yes,
it was a thing.
It was a thing.
So
that's okay. We at least watched something better than that.
Okay, so tell me about The Mandalorian. Wrapped up season 3.
Yes.
A season that seemed to be a little up and down for fans. A lot of people were a little confused about halfway through this, especially when like Jack Black and Lizzo show up.
To all you fans who say that, boo on you. Star Wars is supposed to be fun.
All right. Okay.
And I had fun in that episode.
All right.
So a lot of what The Mandalorian wrapping up is that every episode itself in its own could have been its own season-long journey if they wanted it to be. But instead, every episode felt like it was its own season-long journey. So a lot of it did feel at times rushed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it opened the doors to open up for the next plot line and the next plot line. And everything about The Mandalorian moved the story along. There wasn't the one episode that they are talking about with Jack Black and Lizzo does feel like everything comes to a halt. And they go on this giant quest mission. But it does eventually feed back into the main story, the main quest. Giancarlo Esposito is back as the main antagonist again, always deliciously playing up the scenery. But yeah, The Mandalorian, it's fun, and the ending leaves it very open-ended to where we don't know when it's coming back. I think it is going to be for a 4th season. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have said, we have no official plan to end The Mandalorian. So if it ended here, it ends on a good note, and I'm happy for it. But it does leave itself open to be like, hey, when we want to go on another adventure with the Mandalorian, we have the opportunity to do that.
Right.
It wraps up everything from the first 2 seasons in a nice, neat little bow. Literally, if this was like the series finale of it, I'd be happy with it. It ends on a very good and happy note, and I'm kind of happy how it all wraps up between the Mandalorian and Grogu and all the Mandalorians and Mandalore and everything. It's very nice, neat little bow on it.
Okay.
Now, that neat little bow needs to get messed up for season 4.
Well, yeah, but we'll see what happens with that, because it seems like this. A lot of people are saying this seems like this is set up for something outside of the television show.
There is a lot of stuff that they can set up that they can go and no longer need to explore the history of the Mandalorian, but rather other things going on in the Star Wars universe, more specifically the outer rim of the Star Wars universe, where it is a lot of unknown planets, unexplored territory, not connected to the internal galactic empire.
All right, when do I get my Cantina Band series? I just want to learn more about Jizz. Tell me everything you know about Jizz.
Go ahead. You proud of that joke?
Yeah.
You proud of that joke?
Keep making that joke. All right.
Anyways, Mandalorian season 3, love it.
Cool.
The only thing I hate is that each season is 8 episodes.
Yeah.
So 24 episodes of The Mandalorian are up. But I did like that each episode was about an hour long.
All right.
So it moves fast.
Speaking about fast things, I thought we already did this, but it seems like very quickly we already have an anniversary special for Power Rangers.
So what you're thinking of is the in-universe anniversary special for the seasons.
That was different than this.
Yes, that was a 30th anniversary. That was a 25th anniversary.
Oh, okay.
In season in conjunction of the current season of Power Rangers when it was running.
So what is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers : Once and Always?
This is a specific 30th anniversary of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Wait, 30th?
Yeah, 30 sounds right.
No, 95. Yeah, 93, 95.
93, yeah.
Yeah. So a specific 30th anniversary of the original Power Rangers.
Okay.
Of most notably the Yellow Ranger and the Green Ranger no longer with us.
Right. The surviving Power Rangers.
Not even all of the surviving Power Rangers, though.
Okay.
Because this Once and Always focuses mainly on 2 Power Rangers. The Blue Ranger and the Black Ranger.
Okay.
And they're no longer teenagers with attitudes.
No.
They're now middle-aged men.
Yes, turns out.
Who are still doing Power Rangers crime fighting.
Oh, weird. Okay.
Yeah. Because they that's what they know.
That's what they know.
Yeah. They decided to keep on that pathway in the series, even in the series, they specifically do certain stuff to leave and do other things outside of being a Power Rangers, but doesn't necessarily explain how they are still Power Rangers using the Dino coins, which are supposed to be destroyed. But because they finesse their way to restore the morphing grid that Zordon was destroyed, and there's a lot of if-thens and very thinly veiled things of well, if you don't think about it too much, we're just gonna throw a one line in here so you don't think about it.
It's supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun. It's just supposed to throw back the nostalgia goggles of, hey, remember these characters that you saw growing up? Well, guess what? They're back and they're still doing Power Ranger stuff. And even these characters who replaced the ones that you liked, yeah, we're gonna put them in here too. These characters based on the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. Meaning that the characters themselves only interact with the other characters related to Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So any of the spin-offs from Turbo on,
all that stuff doesn't.
You'll see little Easter eggs about them, but you won't see any actual characters from. No, this is specifically for the OG Power Rangers and the nostalgia you have for the OG Power Rangers.
Okay.
And Rita Repulsa's back.
Hey, you know what? You have to do that.
Even though she herself was charmed when Zordon's tube was destroyed and became good. We don't have to. No. We're going to retcon that and say that, like, yes, her evil was purged from her, but the evil was still out there, and now it's back.
Okay, so despite the things that have to be retconned and rewritten, was this an enjoyable time for you, someone with childhood nostalgia for this?
Outside of all of the shoehorn stuff in order to make this thing even possible. Yeah, it was a fine time. A nice trip down the nostalgia lane. It is 50 minutes.
So it's not long.
It's not long at all.
All right.
But at times it also feels like it's a student film project because a lot of the ways things are set up and shot are very, hey, we're going to rent this house for a weekend and we need to film everything we can here.
Yeah.
So camera's very static. All the lenses are like single lens used for literally everything. We're not changing anything up. And all the fight coordination, we're going to pay homages to what happened to Mighty Morphin.
Right. Which was not high quality.
Yeah.
Needless to say,
it was not high quality in the 90s.
It was pretty slapdash, and so they're going to try to recreate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that way you have memories of what, like fond memories, like, oh yeah, like they're doing this again, yay! But really, it's like, wait, am I supposed to believe that this 40-year-old man now who is morphed into a clearly obvious stunt double is doing these moves?
He really loses a lot of weight when he goes from normal to Morphin, huh? It's weird.
Yeah. It's weird how all of a sudden he gains a six-pack.
That suit's really slimming. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, okay, cool. I'm glad that it's given the 30-year-old something to watch.
Yeah. Except when it goes to the whole aspect of the Zords.
Sure.
And they transform into the Megazord. Because lest we forget, one, those Zords were destroyed, and two, they were transformed using into the Thunder Megazords. So both iterations have been completely like dissolved into new, more canon iterations of what they are. Because even then they transform into like the Shogun Zords and then the Zeo Zords. So like in canon like universe, for some reason they always want to revert back to the dinosaurs version.
Yeah, because nostalgia.
Exactly. Yes. But it breaks canon.
Yes, I know.
Canonicity.
That's the thing. It's like you can't have both with this kind of thing. If you're gonna go for the nostalgia play, you have to do the thing that people love. So we're having the same conversation in the Pokemon fandom right now.
Yes.
Because Pokemon Horizons, aka Pokemon, the new series, the Reset series in Japan, recently premiered. And immediately, as soon as the beginning episode establishes, oh, we're in Kanto again, all the fans freaked because they all thought, wait, this is supposed to be the Paldea season.
Mm-hmm.
So no, not really. The lead character is from Paldea, but they're in Kanto going to school. And so the first couple episodes that have aired so far, the third one happened yesterday. Then I have not seen it yet. But yes, I finally did it.
Yeah.
I finally looked up a fan sub stream of it because I was like, I cannot wait for them to make an announcement about when this is happening here. I'm just going to start watching these.
Yes.
Illegal.
Yes.
Not on the record saying that. I'm just saying that wink, wink, wink. Wink, wink. I don't actually mean
join the dark side.
Anyways, everything here is legal. I watched
everything is above ship.
My friend recorded them in Japan. Yes, and I'm just watching those. Anyways. Allegedly. Anyway, it is full of Kanto Pokemon. Everybody's just like, oh, come on. But again, there's a reason why they have to do this. Is because they're trying to establish a baseline of the popular thing. Mm-hmm. And the popular thing in both cases happens to be the first thing. And so, yes, they have to harp on it because it works.
Okay. Now, going back to Once and Always, someone didn't finish their pre-res on these on the Megazord,
Sure.
or if they did, they added too much of an outline for it
Oh, no.
because it was very blocky and
Oh,
static
no.
in its movement. It was only on the screen for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes total tops, but once they got to it, I was like, "Ooh, this does not look good. What are you doing?" Oh,
Well,
anyways, yeah,
well,
nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia. I watched a couple things.
Okay.
Like I said, I watched the first 2 episodes completely legally of the new Pokemon series.
Yes.
Wink, wink. Yeah, I really like it so far.
Okay.
I don't know if you checked this out.
No, I haven't. I didn't know it started. I thought it was
Yes, it
in
started 2
May.
weeks ago.
Okay.
The first 2 episodes are, like I said, the third one should be up now.
Okay.
But yeah, you should check it out. It's really cool so far. I like how they started. I like what they're setting up.
Okay.
There's a lot more plot now. It seems like they're going in a direction with it. And it's very clear from the beginning that that means that they need the protagonist to actually have a character, and she does. We haven't met the second protagonist yet. I believe that's going to happen soon. But yeah, her story has already been set up, and I like where
Rico
it's
is her
going.
name.
Liko
Liko.
with an L. Although again, with
Yes.
Japanese translation, it could go either way. In this case, I believe they announced that Liko is the
Okay.
English name for her. But yeah, I really like it. Some of the animation's been really cool, and yeah, I like where they're going with it so far. I like the theme song, which will certainly change for the US release. I'm glad I'm getting on in now because I think that they're going to make some changes that will kind of make it worse in a few ways. So I'm glad that I'm actually checking it out as it's meant to be seen. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm gonna check out, see if episode 3 is available later. Then the other thing I've been watching. So yeah, out of nowhere, they revived one of my favorite shows from a couple years ago for a second season, even though they didn't announce that it was being renewed. Single Drunk Female is back on Freeform.
Oh.
I really liked season 1, and season 2 is already off to a strong start. Technically, all of it is available now on Hulu. They just uploaded the entire season, even though it's airing on a weekly basis on Freeform. So what I'm doing is I am just watching it in weekly release on Hulu. I'm not going ahead of the weekly release.
Okay.
As if I'm watching it in real time. So they're doing a 2-week right now, so it looks like they may just trying to burn off season 2, which has me worried about the future of the show. That being said, though, it's even better than the first one. I think that it's a really strong show. And this is the one that's Jenny Conner, formerly of Girls, producing. It's very good. It's very in that kind of area, that kind of zone, except less cringy. And obviously on cable, so they can't do as much. But yeah, it's a really good kind of like a very realistic depiction, I think, of somebody in recovery from alcoholism. What that means to be in a program, how that affects your relationships with your family and your friends. And this season specifically goes into how that affects your dating life. So dating a normie, for example, is what people in recovery programs call people who are not in recovery programs.
Mm-hmm.
I would know. I dated somebody in recovery once. I was that normie. So it's interesting to kind of see the other side of this. And yeah, from what I can gather, it's a very well depicted like version of that kind of story, and I'm really having a good time with it.
Okay, that's good.
So yeah, cool. So that season's happening. Other than that, just baseball.
All right. I'm still going through Succession watch. I got through season 2, and it's finally getting me interested in wanting to continue the story.
Did you manage to avoid the spoiler though that happened? The big spoiler for this something crucial that happens right now this season.
Yeah, I'm not looking up spoilers.
Good.
I'm going through it right now.
Okay.
I'm in season 3. I'm trying to catch up through season 4 so I can watch the finale live.
Okay.
But it finally got good. It finally got interesting. I'm finally like understanding why people are like so hooked on this. It took me 2 seasons to get there.
To get in there, yeah.
I don't like the slow burn.
Sure.
It's like, okay, like first season was very like, okay, rich people problems. I don't really care about this, but people say this is like interesting and dramatic TV.
All right.
Second season, I was like, okay, I can kind of see where it's going here. But by the end of the second season, I was like, all right, now we're getting to the actual like family political dynamics of everyone trying to eat everyone here, and I get it now.
Yeah. Now it clicks.
Well, it both clicks and is like, do I want to continue watching? Because a lot of it is very internal family dynamics that clash, and I don't know how much I want to get into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta go through season 3, and then I should catch up for season 4 when that finale airs in 2 weeks. I want to say.
Okay.
So watch the space for when I eventually catch up and do a series
All right.
wrap up on Succession.
Sounds good. Oh yeah, Riverdale.
Oh yeah,
continues to be batshit insane.
Continues to be in the 50s.
Yes, they're still in 1955. It's been a lot. All right, let's move on to cancellations and renewals.
What am I no longer watching?
Hulu is bringing back Reasonable Doubt for a 2nd season. The Rookie is back for a 6th season on. You have BAC. It's ABC.
I don't care. You can't have someone be 6 seasons around and still be considered or call themselves the Rookie.
Will Trent what? Is getting a 2nd season on ABC.
That was the detective show set in New Orleans.
Will Trent what? Rana Naldo is getting a 2nd season on Netflix.
I believe it's Naldo, not Naidu.
I don't know. I can't read the difference between an I and an L from this distance.
Yes.
And The Good Doctor getting a 7th season on ABC.
Hey, that means that the next season is going to be the baby season.
Did the backdoor pilot work, or are they going to green light?
Have not heard about that yet.
Okay. Bling Empire will get its 3rd season on Netflix, and Bling Empire, New York, will get a 1st season on Netflix.
Those are supposed to be canceled.
Oh.
Both of the Bling Empires got canceled on Netflix.
Let me rephrase
that. That is my bad.
Canceled after 3 seasons, and then Bling Empire New York canceled after 1 season.
Yes, they Netflix has cut ties with the entire Bling Empire.
No more Bling Empire.
No.
The Empire is crumbled.
Yes.
All right, let's move into the last section for today, which is movies. And we always start the movies with the weekend box office numbers. Your number 1 movie is still the Super Mario Brothers movie, making another $92 million this week. That is officially at $353 million. I know you probably talked about it last week, but it already broke the record for the highest grossing first weekend of an animated film of all time.
Broke the animated record, broke the video game record. It crossed the 1 billion mark already worldwide. So, Super Mario World is coming soon.
Oh, and this opens the floodgates for the Mario universe. The MCU is already a thing.
NCU.
The NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. Yes. So get ready. I'm sure Donkey Kong is probably next.
Yes, you're not calling it Mario. Yeah. You're not calling it a Mario Cinematic Universe.
Because you're going to get Donkey Kong, probably going to get Zelda at some point.
Yoshi.
We'll probably get Kirby, I hope.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
That's why I hope for the next one is that they do Kirby next.
Oh, I would love Kirby. No, it's going to be Donkey Kong. They already have the stars established, and they already have a lot of the world building.
Yeah.
So it's like, it'll be Donkey Kong. Seth Rogen is Donkey Kong.
It's leading up to Super Smash Brothers.
Oh, God, I hope not.
You know it is.
I don't know what you even do with that. There's no plot.
What do you mean? You got to fight Dr. Hand.
Yeah, fucking
Crazy Hand.
Master
Hand.
Crazy Hand. Anyways, we'll see what happens there. Your number 2 movie, The Pope's Exorcist, with a $9 million debut. Number 3, John Wick Chapter 4 with another $8 million. That's at 160. Number 4, Renfield with an $8 million debut. And number 5, Air with $7.8 million, adding to its $33 million total.
I think we're going to skip Air and wait for it to come to streaming.
Yeah. Well, it's already on there, right?
I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was on Apple TV.
Amazon. It's
Amazon. It's one of them.
Yeah, it's an Amazon thing. I haven't seen it on Amazon yet.
Oh, okay. I thought it was already. I thought it debuted. Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to. Maybe they last minute changed it.
Yeah.
Upcoming this weekend, got a couple of releases this week. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Of course, based on the famous book
of the same name.
And then Big George Foreman.
Yeah, he is.
I grill burgers on my Big George Foreman all the time.
Oh no, there's like a whole subtitle to this too. Okay. It's like Big George Foreman and the undisputed heavyweight king of all time, or something like that.
Okay. So, movie about George Foreman.
Yes, George Foreman going into retirement and then coming out of retirement to fight again.
Yes.
That's what the movie is about.
Selling grills.
Yes.
Delicious. Let's move on to movie news. First story here is about Netflix. The company made another big announcement this year after a year of big announcements. This time, saying goodbye.
Not to Netflix, though.
No. Well, to Netflix, the old style, as its original business, mailing out DVDs in their signature red envelopes, is closing after 25 years. Quote, "Our goal has always been to provide the best service for our members. But as that business continues to shrink, that's going to become increasingly difficult." That's Netflix co-chief executive Ted Sarandos writing in. Netflix will be shipping, which marks the end of an era for physical DVDs. While Netflix is only winding down its DVD business and not selling it, indicating that it has no plans to let another company acquire it. Bill Ruhana, the CEO of Chicken Soup for the Soul, the company that acquired Redbox, as we spoke about, for $370 million last year, has said that Netflix has brushed off his attempts to purchase its DVD business, quote, 3 or 4 times, unquote, before Netflix announced its decision on Tuesday. "I'd like to buy it," Rohana says. "I wish Netflix would sell me that business instead of just shutting it down."
I wonder if they have a patent on shipping DVDs by mail.
I think they do. I think that's why when Blockbuster did it, I think that they had to do it in a very weird way before they ultimately died. And then, I feel like Redbox, if they could have done it, they probably would be doing it that whole time if they could have.
Right, instead of having the DVDs that you have to go to in a kiosk.
So I imagine Netflix had probably some sort of patent around the way that they did it the way they did. Nonetheless, it is kind of an end of an era, although I don't know anybody who's doing this still.
Well, I used to do it because the only way you could get specific movies for like film class and like old movies and stuff, that's no longer streaming. So this kind of like officially does a solid cut in September of, if you want to watch something, you got to find a way to stream it. Otherwise, it becomes kind of like a lost physical medium that you have to go and search for.
But fun fact, though,
your local library may have it.
That's true. But also, if you're a crazy person like us who has GameFly does have certain movies. So if you want to try to get a DVD, you might find it there. So that's your little PSA. If this still matters to you, maybe get a GameFly subscription.
That's if you're looking for specific DVDs, specific movies. Otherwise, there's we bring up Redbox, is that they're pretty much everywhere in your local grocery store. If you're trying to find the newest release, you can just go to Redbox and get it there.
But that's not even a guarantee. So,
no.
Just, give it a shot. So, but definitely an end of an era. And Netflix, is not what it used to be.
Yep.
It's completely now just a streaming service.
I remember, what was it, 2006?
Yeah, something like that.
I think signing up for Netflix DVDs.
Yeah.
It was my Christmas present to the family.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to sign us up for this to watch these movies. But also, like, it was when they were doing their, like, if you sign up, you can get, like, the streaming version of one account of our limited catalog.
And, of course, this also brings to mind, remember when they tried to rebrand it as Quickster?
Yes.
That failed immediately.
Yeah, it did. Anyways.
Let's move on to our second story here. Unless you have something else to say.
Just PSA, we here at the Media Boat Podcast will and always have been, always will be champions for physical media.
Yeah. So it's sad to see something like this that did bring physical media to a lot of people to go away. It definitely feels like the end of something.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to our second story, which is not the end of something, but a beginning of something. A new credit line for Legendary Entertainment.
We don't talk about Legendary Entertainment that much.
No, but they are kind of in the background, constantly making movies that people do care about, including Best Picture nominee Dune.
Yes.
So they have secured a new $800 million credit facility from JP Morgan. The new fund updates a pre-existing line of credit and will span 5 years. It's a sign of confidence in the unit, run by CEO Josh Grode, who said the company was, quote, pleased to extend our relationship with JP Morgan as we continue to grow our global film and TV pipeline. Upcoming Legendary projects include the sequel to Dune.
Yes.
And new entries into the Godzilla vs. Kong. In fact, it was just announced. It's Godzilla
Godzilla v
X Kong, I think it is.
and Kong.
Cross Kong? I think it was X.
X.
Like
Godzilla cross Kong. New
Yeah, I don't
New
know. if
Legends
there's a
or something?
subtitle, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's the sequel to Godzilla versus Kong, and of course, Detective Pikachu franchises.
Which means a sequel to Detective Pikachu?
Well, we knew that was happening.
Well, yeah, but we haven't heard anything about it since.
On the TV side, they've got Drops of God at Apple, based on the Japanese manga. But perhaps most promising is Legendary's ongoing development of a film based on the iconic Street Fighter, the rights to which the company recently acquired.
That was earlier in the week, so I just kind of bundled those two news stories together.
Yeah, so this will be the first attempt at a Street Fighter movie since The Legend of Chun-Li in the 2000s, which sucked. And of course, the famous original Street Fighter film, starring the late Raul Julia. So a lot of cool projects coming from Legendary very soon.
Remember when we were talking about Legendary looking to be bought up by someone?
Yes.
Look at them now.
They don't need it. They're on their own, killing it. So good for Legendary.
Yep, and good for us because we get to get new Dune, new Godzilla, new Street Fighter, new Detective Pikachu. Keep it coming, Legendary. We're rooting for you.
All right. Well, that'll do it for movie news. Any movie thoughts? Did you? So I didn't listen last week. Sorry. Did you see Mario?
Yeah, I talked about Mario last week.
Give me the real quick version of your thoughts about it.
Real quick on Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
I liked it. It's cute. Okay. It's something I would watch a second time.
Right.
Something I wouldn't mind watching with my kid.
Cute.
It's definitely a good family movie. That's, I think, why it's also earning all this money, because you got to buy 3-4 tickets to go see it with your family.
Can't make that money.
But there's enough in there to keep the kids entertained, enough to keep yourself entertained. Also enough in the background to be like, oh, I see this, I see that, I see this, I see that. The story itself, flimsy at best. You can kind of get around it, but then again, they have to kind of work its way into why does Super Mario jump on blocks?
There's a lot of setup that you have to do when you're establishing basically an isekai, where he comes from the real world.
Yes.
So that was kind of always going to be baked into it.
Yeah. But there's also a lot of stuff that they do to like throw some backstory into all the characters, as well as drop little pinpoints everywhere to be like, hey, we could take it in this direction or this direction or that direction. But it's also kind of the pinpoint drops of like, hey, we're making these kind of drops and hints to like maybe spin off into a franchise, like a Luigi's Mansion franchise or a Mario Galaxy franchise. Or if we don't do that, it's just, hey, we know we're referencing the games in this case.
All right, cool. So it works largely, it sounds like.
Yeah, it largely works. It's definitely a good family film. A tear or two may have occurred by the end.
Wow.
But not like full on, I'm like Pixar, I'm bawling. This is stop hitting me in the field. No, it's more like, oh, I'm so happy they did this tier. Like, I didn't think you would do this, but I'm so happy that this is the outcome that it ended up being.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'll try to see it soon. I don't know when, but probably only a matter of time.
Yeah. Like I said, it's a good family film. Like if you want to take your kids to a good theater experience, go see Super Mario Brothers movie. Okay. Otherwise, I think you'd be fine waiting for streaming.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. That's probably going to be a Peacock.
Universal.
Yeah.
So probably Peacock.
All right, cool.
So 4 months. So you're looking like in August.
Yeah, we'll see.
August, September.
Maybe we'll try to see, because I think it's still in theaters.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait, you think Super Mario Brothers is in theaters?
Be leaving money on the table if they don't. All right. Cool. Well, that'll do it for movies, and that'll do it for the Media Boat podcast this week.
Yep. I don't watch anything else.
Yeah, I think that's it. So yes, thank you for joining us this
fast.
week.
I thought we'd go longer.
It's a quick one this week. Normal length. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week for another episode. We'll be remote, as you will be in the Coachella Valley.
Yes, I will. You may, it won't be a live stream, but we will have a recording for you, both in podcast and maybe on YouTube.
Yeah. Live from Stagecoach. So,
well, I don't know about live, but
well, you know what I mean.
We'll record live
tape.
Yeah, live tape.
Recorded earlier. We'll say in the bottom. Anyway, so thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week for that. In the meantime, thanks, and you can find us on all sorts of things. You can find us at MediaBoatPodcast.com. You can find our YouTube channel by searching Media Boat Podcast on YouTube. Like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications. You can follow us in audio form by following us on podcast services such as Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Amazon. Just search Media Boat Podcast and you'll find our feed. We're on Twitter at MediaBoatCast. We still do not we never had a blue check and we still don't. Facebook, Media Boat Podcast, just search that. You'll find us. You can email us if you have questions, comments, feedback about the show. MediaBoatPodcast@gmail.com is that email address. And lastly, we'll be playing some video games, I'm sure, on MediaBoat, on twitch.tv/MediaBoat. If you want to check that out.
Someone Awesome is officially the PGA. So we'll probably stream that on Monday.
Tune in for that. All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back next time. See ya.
We're back with more news, more thoughts, more of us in the recorded version.
Bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, you're right. Hour 30.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
My hair